What's up, people? It's your boy Sean Puff the Commish here to bring you your Week 7 Omega Side breakdown. Yeah, now I got the wild hair, I got the crazy beard. We're getting ready for Halloween. We're a week out from the big Halloween party. I'm going as Mr. T. I think I said that last week. So, next week, maybe here's what I'll do. Next week, I'll be Mr. T'd out. So I'll actually do the video as Mr. T. I pity the fool. But great week of action. We are at the official midpoint of the season. 13 weeks. This is week 17. We've got 6 weeks under our belt. We've got this week and then 6 more weeks to go afterwards. So this is the official midpoint week of the season. It's going to be a crazy one. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Look at everything over here. We've got one undefeated team left. That's the Green Bowl Packers. I feel sorry for you because you might not realize this because this is only your second year in the league, but the team with the best record has only once in 12 Omega Bowls, 10 Omega Bowls, 11 Omega Bowls won the championship. So it's very unlikely. Usually the team that wins has 5 losses. So when I look at those teams that have 2 losses right now is probably in the best position to finish the season with that record that says you're going to win the championship. We have one winless team left, the 0-6 NB Bulldogs, which statistically says he doesn't have a chance to win because we've never had a team with 6 losses, I believe, ever win. Maybe once. We might have once. I think we had a 7-6 team win one year. So he's got a long road ahead of him. The NB Bulldogs do, as well as do the defending champions, the 1-5 Lights Kamara Action. Very long road ahead of them if they're going to try to come back and win and make it to the playoffs this year. Of course, they're in the division with the 6-0 Green Bowl Packers after division switch. Even though they played in the championship last year, they're now in the same division. So it's going to be interesting. They fight for a wild card spot, basically. But then again, there's 7 games left. Anything can happen in 7 games. You go over to the Greystone division, and you've got in the north 3 teams that are 4-2, followed by a 3-3 team, and then in the south 3 teams that are 2-4, followed by an 0-6 team. So again, anything can happen, anything can turn around. But if this were to end today, we take just the champion of the south, and the 2 wild cards would come from the north. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. To see if those guys are all fighting to see who's going to get into the playoffs, while the other guys are fighting to see who's going to win the division and be the only representative in the playoffs. So we'll see how this goes. A lot of crazy stuff going on. We've got our game of the week. The game of the week this week is named as the Southside Shockers at Make America Great Again. Both teams 2-4. Very close contested game. The winner will be atop the Greystone South. Maybe alone, maybe not. This is division week, so everybody's got division games. So we'll see if the Bulldogs can get their first win against the Showboats. And if they do that, then Make America Great Again hosting Southside Shockers will be for first place in that division alone. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes. But we'll get to that game last. First up on our rundown, we've got the Bipolar Bears, who are sitting atop the Riverside West at 4-2, taking on the Mad Pilgrims, who are at the bottom of that division at 3-3. This one's picked to go 120-92, with the Bipolar Bears favored to take the win on the road. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm going with the Bipolar Bears to get the win this week and move to 5-2 rather, and stay atop of their division. Next up, we've got the Virginia Beach Homers sitting at 2-4, taking on Lights Kamara Action, who sits at 1-5. These two, both on the bottom side of their division, fighting to get out of that bottom spot. Of course, Action got their first win last week. They'd love to keep that rolling. They're predicted to win 123-100. I'm going with the defending champions, getting their second win of the season this week, hosting the Homers. Next up on the board, we've got the Svenfish Showboats, who are sitting at 2-4, traveling to the NB Bulldogs to take on the 0-6 Bulldogs. Man, at the beginning of after the draft, Sven came out and said he hated his team. It was horrible. They went on to win their first two, and I don't believe they've won a game since. I think that's how it went. I'd have to really look at it to check, but I'm pretty sure that's how that went down. They're favored to lose 100 to 123. The Bulldogs picked to get their first win, and it looks like that might happen. The Bulldogs right now have a strong-looking team on that field. The Showboats, man, they just can't get things together right now. They're just about to go on a cruise, maybe get high, and plan for next year. But I'm going to go with the Bulldogs getting their first win and us finally having no winless teams left in this league. Bulldogs beat the Showboats and just continue the downward spiral for Svenfish. Next up, we've got this Westfield Slaughterhouse, who sit at 4-2 and having one of their best seasons ever in their history in Omega Psi, taking on the Dig Newtons. They travel to Dig to take on the Newtons. The Newtons sit at 3-3 and are hoping to get a win against the 4-2 division rivals there. They're sitting in third place. The Slaughterhouse tied with the Bipolar Bears for first place in that division right now. The Bipolar Bears get the win. It's a must win for the Slaughterhouse to keep rolling with them. Slaughterhouse expected to get 100. Dig Newton's expected to get 107. I'm going to be the contrarian and go with the Slaughterhouse to keep this division tied up at 5-2 apiece with two people sitting on top of it. Then we go down to New Bedford, where the Blazers will host the Little Compton Chaos. Little Compton's 3-3, and the Blazers are 4-2 in one of the tightest divisions in this whole league. The Blazers things have just turned around for them after starting out really, really strong and looking really, really good. I think they won their first 4, lost their next 2, and they could lose their third in a row here to the Little Compton Chaos. Chaos is projected to win 100 to 83. You never know. I look at some of the lineup choices that the Blazers have made for this week, and I would have changed some myself. I'm not going to say exactly what they are in case this is seen before. I don't want to be the guy that's causing people to win or lose because they take my advice and make changes. But Compton Chaos is projected to win 183. If this stays the same, I'm going to go with the Compton Chaos getting the victory. The Blazers falling to 4-3. The Chaos moving to 4-3. And this being that much more of a fight for that last wild card spot when we get to the end of the season. The undefeated Green Bowl Packers travel to OG to take on the Vic squad. This should be a good one. It's projected to be 107-101. The Packers projected to move on to 7-0, while the Vic squad projected to fall to 4-3. They're right now sitting at second place in the division. Pretty much want to win this one. I mean, they do have a 1-game lead on a 2-game lead on third place in the division, 1-game lead on the wild card. So it's not end of the world to lose here, especially mid-season. A lot of football left to play, but the Vic squad would love to get a win and to take one and give the first loss to the Packers. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Packers move to 7-0 this week. I'm very ESPN this week, I guess. I agree with most of what they're saying. Next up, we've got the Little Lebowski Underachievers, the team that always seems to have the worst name ever in the league. The team formerly known as 99 Problems, but a K Hunt ain't one. Now the Little Lebowski Underachievers, another horrible name. They're 4-2. They travel to Hanging with Hernandez, who's also 4-2. This game would have been game of the week, but this is just picked to be a blowout. It's projected 82-102, Hanging with Hernandez to come with the win. The Underachievers scheduled to underachieve and to fall to 4-3, which actually would be good for the Blazers if the Blazers can pull off that victory this week against the Compton Chaos. Also good for the Compton Chaos if the Compton Chaos can pull off that victory against the Blazers, we can have a 3-way tie in second place at 4-3. With Hanging with Hernandez at 5-2. I'm going with Hanging with Hernandez, running away with this one. I really hope that he doesn't. I hope he loses. I don't want him to win because he sold my team in his league, and I was 4-0, and he didn't tell me, hey, I'm going to sell your team if you don't call me today. I was working a lot, so whatever. It's neither here nor there. I hope he loses, but I'm picking him to win. If I was betting on this, Hanging with Hernandez take the victory. Now we're on to the game of the week. Game of the week this week, the Southside Shockers, 2-4, travel to Make America to take on the Great Agains. I guess that's how you would call that. Make America Great Again. Both both teams are 2-4. Both teams tied with the Svenfish Showboats to sit atop the Greystone South. Both teams fighting to stay alive, to stay relevant, to win this division, because chances are the wild card isn't going to come from the Greystone South this year. This is a crazy one. The Shockers projected to get 97. Make America Great Again expected to get 102 and to hold tight to that division. Of course, I'm always going to go with not always, because I go against my team all the time. But I feel the Shockers are going to shock the world. They've been doing some things, making some changes, and trying to turn this whole boat around. I think they're going to be able to pull this one off this week against Make America Great Again and get themselves a victory. That's my second upset of the week. Game of the week, picking an upset of the week. I love it. I'm picking the Shockers to take out Make America Great Again. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a great week. After this, it's all downhill from here. 7 games down after this week, 6 more to go after this week. So it's all downhill from here. Then we start the run for the playoffs after this game. Wow, this is going to be crazy. We're going to see how this goes. Remember, last 4 games of the year are all division games. So we've got 3 games left after this week. No, 2 games left after this week. And then there's 3 division games. I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. Last 3 weeks of the season are division games. So we've got, after this week, 3 regular games, 3 division games. I don't even know if we've done all of our division games yet. I believe we have, but I might be wrong. The schedule's weird this year. But this is it. This is when you start looking at where you're at, figuring out if you're going to make a move or if you're not going to make a move. Man, trade deadline. I don't know how the trade deadline hasn't come up yet. We'll have to look at that and talk about that this week. Keep your eyes out, because I believe the trade deadline should be at the end of week 7. I believe that's when we've done it. So it will probably be going into week 8. So by Wednesday will be trade deadline. So we'll see if people blow up teams, if people make moves, if people do what or what. So check that out. This is gonna make a break week for some teams. For some teams, it's just maintenance. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great week. Make sure you get all your lineups in. Make sure you check it out. Guys might get injured. Things are going to change. But be ready. It's time for some football. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get this week underway. Omega Psi, baby. I'll see you next week.